Okay, what's up? Be
careful with that.
That's fine. He's very careful.
Yeah.
Be careful.
It's careful. It's careful.
It's good.
Sorry.
Good was nice.
It's good.
It's a coin.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Actually, I'm doing that action over here.
He's preparing.
That. I mean, the toilet says that we're not. That's not that. Let's get started. What we need to do. Why we get this covered. Okay. Ayun Kotzev Amalocha Maruba. So let's get started. Someone asked me, they're making tickets. They're going to Eretz Yisrael for Pesach. Okay, definitely better than going to Cancun and or Dubai. So they're doing Dubai. I wouldn't go to Dubai now. I would say, yeah, exactly. Right now, I would say goodbye to Dubai. But anyway, so they want to book a ticket back. So the person says, I'm going with my husband. So we're keeping only 1 day Yom Tov. They didn't ask this question. They didn't ask me if they should keep 1 or 2 days Yom Tov. They said, I'm keeping 1 day Yom Tov. And I want to take a flight back right after Yom Tov, after Abdullah. I want to take a flight. She'll get here in New York on Yom Tov. She wants to know if that's kosher, if that's problematic or non-problematic. And that was the question. I said, I'm dealing with the question. I don't make up the questions. So this is the question. I'm going to say, who says you should keep only 1 day Yom Tov? That wasn't the question I got. I was telling you the question I got. So the truth is, a little bit we do have to deal with who says you keep 1 day or 2 days. Even if someone is a Ben Eretz Yisrael and he arrives in JFK on Achim and Shal Pesach, so there's a tshuva in the Or L'Tzion, Rebbe Tzin Abba Shaul Zechanel Baruch. He says, look, it's what's the difference? You came b'toich hatchum. Baklal today, most airports are already b'toich hatchum. Even if the airport is huge, it's movable, it's in the tchum. To make a big chiddush to say it's but chutz l'tchum. So the airport is b'toich hatchum. You'll argue it's a chutz l'tchum, whatever. As soon as you take a taxi and you get out of the airport, you're b'toich hatchum. So you're not allowed to do fahesia work, even if you're ben chutz l'oretz. And you, Ben Yisrael, you came to chutz l'oretz. You're not allowed to do any melacha b'fahesia. So you're not allowed to do fahesia. So you're stuck in JFK anyway for the rest of the day. You can go off the plane. Why not? You go off the plane. You can go get your luggage. But
in front of Jews or even Goyim?
Yes, potatoes.
Who do you know? Do you know when you're going to see a Jew?
No, what I mean is that if you're going from the airport to an area that you're going to a vacant house, you're not going to encounter any Jews. This professor
room Jews, but maybe other Jews also.
That's what I'm asking.
Room or not room? Who says that?
In New York, it's very hard to say. Anyway, the person that's asking me is living in Flatbush, so that's not so relevant.
And they're going to Flatbush.
They're going to Flatbush. They're not going to Timbuktu. So
Timbuktu, they have a problem.
Exactly.
Except for there's probably a Chabad in Timbuktu.
Right, but they might be chutz l'tchum. So
in the airport.
Except for why the Chabad in Timbuktu.
Anyway, so now the question is, this person is coming from Eretz Yisrael. So the bottom line is like this: the Chabad has never resolved what's the real halacha about this. Ad hayom the Rabbanan Chabad is a machlokes about what Ben Eretz Yisrael goes chutzos. Bottom line, it comes down to this: there seems to be two mahalchim within the Alter Rebbe. I'm talking now within the Alter Rebbe. So and the way I see it is in a very simplistic way. Is basically the mission Rishon of the Alter Rebbe was you go with the Gavra. In other words, are you a Ben Eretz Yisrael or are you a Ben Chutz L'Oretz? What's in your passport? Well, obviously, we're not looking at about the passport that was issued by the Israeli government. I'm saying, what's in your passport? If you're a Ben Eretz Yisrael,
12 months in a place.
yeah, if you're going with your wife, where is your passport? Are you Ben Eretz Yisrael? You keep 1 day, Ben Chutz L'Oretz, you keep 2 days. Obviously, you shouldn't be making big waves, and you shouldn't be making. So if it's a ben Eretz Kem Kutzlar, it's even second day. You shouldn't do malacha b'farhesya. Okay, that's one mahalach. There's another mahalach which is a mystical mahalach, but it's even that's brought in Chacham Tzvi, and all the Mekubalim hold of this, which is, we'll read it in a minute in the Alter Rebbe. What's the kedusha of Shabbos v'Yom Tov? The kedusha of Shabbos v'Yom Tov is l'mayla mazman v'amokim. And then in the globe, in every place in the globe, depending on your mokim and your zman, the kedusha Shabbos v'Yom Tov comes into this zman and this mokim. Furthermore, the Alter Rebbe says in Likutei Torah that in Eretz Yisrael, because of the intense kedusha of Eretz Yisrael, in 24 hours you can get the whole kedushas. You can download the whole kedushas Yom Tov in 24 hours. But the connection, the Wi-Fi connection in Chutz La'aretz is weaker, and therefore to download kedushas Yom Tov, it takes 48 hours. It takes much longer. It takes double the time in Chutz La'aretz to download kedushas Yom Tov. So these are the two mahalchim. What's taka the din? So it seems that the Alter Rebbe, the second one, like basically where you are, that's what kedusha Shabbos, the chefetz. It's not new. That seems to be the Mishnah Achron of the Alter Rebbe. Now, what's the minhag? Is a very good question. There is the Shara Kollel that Rebbe's grandfather writes in Simon Beis in a sefer, the famous sefer Shara Kollel, landmark sefer on halacha. By the way, the Rebbe's grandfather, the Machaber Shara Kollel, wrote a sefer which Ad Hayom is used by every Masada Gittin. So he was a Choshev Pesach. He says, and he knows, as far as he knows, the Alter Rebbe, the Mishnah Achroina, is it goes with the Chefetzer. Wherever you're in Eretz Yisrael, I don't care about Eretz Yisrael. In Eretz Yisrael, you keep 24 hours. You're in Chutz La'aretz, you keep 48 hours. I don't care what your passport says. One second. I don't care what your passport says. In Eretz Yisrael, you keep 24. Chutz La'aretz, you keep 48. What's the halacha? It says that Keyadua, there was a Ben Eretz Yisrael that stayed in the house of Tzemach Tzedek. As you know, that the Mittel Rebbe had a daughter that went to Eretz Yisrael. At one point in Hebron, they said that half of the people in Hebron were her descendants. I mean, you couldn't imagine a woman shows up in Hebron.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
She moved to Eretz Yisrael 200 years ago, and the Ad Hayom, they show you a building. They have one of the buildings that the Ad Hayom is standing, and the Jews are living in that building. They show you where she slept. She slept on a rock. I don't know if no, it's maybe the Hadassah Hospital. I'm not
Yes,
sure.
I think Hadassah Hospital.
They show you where she slept. There was like a rock, she slept on that, carved out. I mean, like a bed. So from her descendants used to come back sometimes to Lubavitch, and Tzemach Tzedek had someone in his house for Yom Tov, and he heard that the Betzina he put on film, because I mean that's the way it's in if you're Ben Eretz Yisrael and you're Chutz La'aretz, you keep only one day, and the Betzina you should put on film. But he said that Tzemach Tzedek was unhappy, and he said, "B'derech halotza, I'm gonna tell the Misharsim in the house they shouldn't give you a Sudas Yom Tov. They should just give you a Sudas Choil." He wasn't happy that he put on film Betzina. So he said, "You see from this that the halacha is like the Mishnah Achrona, the Alter Rebbe.
Betzina means privately.
Betzina is privately. That if you're in Eretz Yisrael, your Yom Tov is 24 hours, and a Chutz La'aretz is 48 hours. It's a very, very simplistic way, very easy. No nuance.
Yom Tov in Israel, period.
Nope. It's so simple. It's so super simple.
So how did they invite the Israeli people for Simchas Torah? When the Rebbe was alive for Shabbos.
What was the problem?
Well, you say they have to keep 48.
No. You didn't hear what I said. That according to this mahalach, if you're in Israel, I don't care what your passport says. It doesn't matter what your passport says. You could be from Tasmania. If you're in Eretz Yisrael, you keep 24 hours. You're in Chutz La'aretz, you keep 48 hours. That's the Mishnah Achroina. The problem is, and there's always mashma from a letter from the Rebbe also. There's a letter in the Kutsichas Chelik Yud Aleph. Problem is,
when he was in Israel, he was there over Yom Tov.
He was not there over Yom Tov. Problem is that there is a letter from the Rebbe Rashab Tafrei Shayim Beis, Rebbe Zalman Havlin, where he told them that the Bochrim that they sent from Lubavitch and they started Yeshiva Torah Semes in Yerushalayim. So, so he said the Bochrim, they have to keep, they have to keep 2 days, and you're not sure if you're coming out Chutz La'aretz, so you should, Mipnei Yisur Chometz, you should the second day, Achron Shel Pesach, you shouldn't eat Chometz. So this is this letter of the Rebbe Rashab makes all the problems for Sayyid all the mice. Bottom line is, Rabbi Khan once I get a person come to me, he said, Rabbi Khan, I can't ask me, I should ask you a shaila. Unusual thing. He's a member in Rabbi Khan Shul. I said, why would he ask? He said, no, because I asked him a shaila, and he said, my father learned to Lubavitch, I should ask you the shaila. Okay, what's the shaila? I'm going for Yom Tov in Eretz Yisrael. I keep 1 day Yom Tov or 2 day Yom Tov. So I understood. I understood. He asked me. He sent a couple to ask me the shaila. Probably I never asked him, but I assumed he sent them to me because he wasn't going to pass them. They should keep 1 day. It's a complicated sugya. But he said, "You're Lubavitch." So you go to Lubavitch Rav. So I said, "Oh, you keep 1 day because Alter Rebbe's Mishnah Chron is 1 day." I assume that's why Rabbi Khan sent them to me. I mean, why? Otherwise, he can pass himself. So like this. So let's now think about it for a minute. If a person is flying right after Yom Tov, he keeps 1 day. So if a person's flying is going to Israel with his wife, the whole family is there for Yom Tov. So according to both reasons, there's a strong way to say that he should. Not everyone will agree, but there's a strong. If you say that where do you come from, but I came with my wife, happens to be the person that's asking. His family lives in Kfar Chabad, so you're coming with your wife to your parents' house in Kfar Chabad. Maybe you'll decide, you know what? Never mind the return ticket. I'm going to live in Eretz Yisrael. So good, okay. So mitzad, I'm a ben Eretz Yisrael. Mitzad, the other reasons, so you're keeping 1 day Yom Tov. Great, okay. Now you're flying back. You arrive in JFK the morning of Achron Shel Pesach. So which reason did you go with? If you went with the reason that you're a ben Eretz Yisrael, so you kept 1 day. But guess what? Even if you're really a ben Eretz Yisrael, once you come to Chutz La'aretz, so there's noisin of chumra makom shehalach l'sham. And you know what? What do you mean noisin chumra makom? You're really a ben Chutz La'aretz. It's Akstat Chainik. You live here in Flatbush. You came back with your wife. So right now is already so now it's Yom Tov for you. Now it's a shaila if you're allowed to walk off the plane because you were not you were never koine shvisa in New York. You were never koine shvisa in New York. So you fell in from the sky into a city which is machutz l'tchum. You could say, but what do you mean? I fell in from the sky, and there was no tchum b'chlal. So there's this chaka tshuva from the Moshe that says when the plane lands, it's already down low enough, and it goes more than a tchum Shabbos.
Oh, yeah.
The truth is that Bisman Hazeh, like airport like Kennedy,
put you into the.
Anyway, it doesn't matter. The lumdus is that you're really betoich at tchum, so it's fine. You can get off the plane. Either way, you got to get off the plane. Unless you're going to want to get
They're going to remove you anyway.
They're going to remove you anyway.
Maybe
Okay.
that's better. They take you, not that you do it.
Walk off the plane. Gandik. Walk off the plane. Walk off the plane. Okay. It's in the terminal. It's a one house. It's like a daladam. It's fine. You can't do any malacha now. You can't do any malacha. If you should say the other thing, that depends where you are. So you could make a shmei drei. You could say, I already downloaded Kedushas Yom Tov in 24 hours in Eretz Yisrael. But it's a little shver. But now you're in Chutz La'aretz. How are you allowed to be Machal Yom Tov? Maybe you shouldn't have to make Kiddush and daven the tefillas of. But how could you? So, however you go, any one of the two reasons, if you're going the fact that you said, I went with my wife, I'm an Ashlish Takeh Eretz Yisrael, but you came back at Chutz La'aretz, it's like Achron Shel Pesach. You have to keep Achron Shel Pesach. If you went with the Mahalach that, in Eretz Yisrael, you downloaded a Kiddush in 24 hours, a Chutz La'aretz in 48, still. You came a Chutz La'aretz. It's hard to say that you're allowed to be Machal Yom Tov right now. So therefore, I can't see.
That svar would be the same if you came back, what's our Polamoid? What I mean is that the last thing you just said that
Yom Tov is happening in a place where you only keep.
He came back at Cholamoid. What does he want?
No,
he wants to come back to Cholamoid and eat chametz here and Achron Pesach.
No,
what is the guy saying?
No,
what does he want?
The first night you're gonna arrive here with still Yom Tov, and Eretz Yisrael is already Cholamoid.
Nah, the shtav said it.
No. What I mean,
Never mind.
third day Kolamoid. You didn't fly on Yom Tov.
I don't want to talk about it. There's nothing to talk
So
about.
what did you tell her?
So if you're gonna fly Matzah Yom Tov in Eretz Yisrael and arrive here, it's also Gomer. It's also Gomer because you're creating problems for yourself. If you're gonna fly in the afternoon on Achna Shel Pesach and you're gonna arrive here after Yom Tov, so then you could be makel like this. If you hold that you're depends if you're ben Eretz Yisrael ben Chutz La'aretz. So you don't become a ben Chutz La'aretz until you come in the tchum of Chutz La'aretz. By the time you're going to land in the tchum of Chutz La'aretz, if it's already after Yom Tov, so you have no problem. And if you say that in Eretz Yisrael you download the Kedushin 24 hours on Chutz La'aretz of 48, so the truth is you could say once you're in the airspace of Chutz La'aretz, if it's already so you have a shayla if you're allowed to eat chometz, if you're allowed to do malacha. But you could argue one way or the other way. I think lachatchila that should fly after Achron Shal Pesach. You should have no shilas at all. So there's three things here. If you ask me, flying Motzei Shvi Shal Pesach Meretz Yisrael to land in LaGuardia or Kennedy is also gomer. To fly in the afternoon of Achron Shal Pesach to land here after Yom Tov, there's a strong reason to be makel, especially you could say I only kept one day because I was there with my husband. I'm an asli shtakei. By the time I land in the tchum of a Jewish city, it's already after Yom Tov, so I have no problem. I can eat chametz on the plane. But if you want to rely on that, no problem. Even the other thing, you could say, you already downloaded the kedusha. That's a complicated sugya.
And you're bringing it with you.
Huh?
You're bringing it with you.
Yeah, so I'm not sure.
Luggage.
But l'chatchila, I would say to fly out from Eretz Yisrael after Achron Shal Pesach. So what can you do? It's not bad. You can go to Eretz Yisrael. You can eat. If you went with your wife,
And you'll have another day there.
another day. Enjoy in Eretz Yisrael another day again. Enjoy your vacation.
The difference is that or that night,
Join them in Muna.
less people go back, so it's going to be cheaper.
Yeah. Next day. Yeah. Listen, the Torah is to be a Yid is expensive.
Yeah.
Okay. That's that. Okay. By the way, while I'm looking, it's so hard to find about the Shaila. So I ended up seeing a lot of Chuvas of Klal about flying a Shabbos and Yom Tov. It's like very, it's ungenommen that it's Chazat Treif. But like Mehechi Tesi, it's also to fly on Shabbos if you got on the plane before Shabbos. But there's a lot of discussion about this. So, but the one there's a journal, Spaklaria. They say they asked the Chazon Ish when people started flying if you're allowed to fly on Shabbos. So Shaila is just like a boat. You're allowed to be going to Shvis. They say get on the boat. It's like if it gets on the plane before Shabbos, and he's flying the whole Shabbos. So then the problem is, okay, you landed in Shabbos. How you allowed to walk off the plane? It's a mitzvah of the goof, but then there's other problems that there might be bottom line is Angenom and Klal Yisrael, you don't fly in Shabbos and Yom Tov. But the funny thing was they asked the Chazon Ish, so he says, I don't know. I didn't look into the Shaila. Maybe you'll figure out a plane that a person could fly in the plane without any Shaila of Chil Shabbos v'Yom Tov. Mikol makom barurli shadover osa.
Oh, Tesla.
And he says, barurli shadover osa. And then this guy says that someone said in the name that when they asked the Chazon Ish about the elevator, so it's cute. It's like a Rebbe answer. So the Chazon Ish said, he asked me about an elevator. He says, it's barurli if my mother got up from her grave and she saw a Yid going on an elevator on Shabbos, Lamda Sahim, Lamda Saher, she would start screaming to fill Shabbos. So it's also.
So it's the ruach more than just.
Maybe
Shabbos
Shabbos
When you translate, I don't know. Chazon Ish is not a person you could,
No, of course.
If I said that, you say, Chaim v'levrocha. But so while I was on that article, it was just a beautiful word. And Rav Zilberstein, Rav Zilberstein, he's all these beautiful things. So he said that there's a mission in Shvius that a person that the government makes him do avodah b'Shvius, but still you're not allowed to say atzei v'hatzlach to him because never he's working on Shemitah and Eretz Yisrael on the land. So what happens if you see a Yid going onto an ambulance in Shabbos, or a person that they're flying in Nebuch even worse, they have to fly a person with a helicopter or plane for a medical purpose. So should you say for he's a choyle, yeah, Pekuach nefesh. But he says, but we. So he says, Adova vada. You should say for gesundheit, kum gesundheit, der fuhr schleime. I exactly. By says by Shemitah is it's also to the Eibush said, listen, if they're going to put a gun to your head, even it's Yisrael, do avodah b'shmita. But when it comes to Shabbos, it's a mitzvah to be machal Shabbos to save a yid's life. So over there for Shteitzach, you should say, Asay, Vahatzlach, Porgesund, Kumgesund, Refu Shleima, to give a person the chizuk to go in good health and come in good health.
That was in a solo. And put some Mount Shadominion on the plane, and the pilot gets on. Good Shabbos, we'll be flying X amount of feet, and that, you know, they have to say that, but look. And the Chunarana. Aluminium on the plane.
Wow.
I was like, wow, okay, we got dominant.
Wow.
One person that was part of the video was the Kollel, but he didn't really know, but the Huskers indeed.
Very nice.
I told you once that my uncle was a mashgiach for shripas in Argentina for Eretz Yisrael. So there is a place in Argentina where there is lambs, that the shecht lambs that is much, Tasmania in Australia is more south, like an hour and a half more. Yeah. So he left, the second Shabbos ended in Buenos Aires. So he went to the airport, and because they knew him already, he was able to go directly, like La Guardia here, but it's very close. So he took the plane and was Motzei Shabbos. And then in the middle of the flight, it was the summer, became day. Yeah, when he arrived, it was already night. So he got all crazy, but when he arrived, it was already night again. But,
This is a schwere sugya. Bemis is, it's not that complicated because he got on beheaded. The only shadow would be if there's the only shadow we can do malacha. So you just shouldn't write with a pen. Yeah, if he doesn't have malacha, then what's shaila? Malacha, that's the shaila. If he could do malacha, if he's sitting in the plane, it's a goy is driving the plane. Like in this case, it's like okay. We spoke last week about how you spin by lechadoidi. In Tavishan, I found out that first of all, the chidushim I said last week were wrong, and second of all, there was an interesting piece of information I didn't know, that the Rebbe used to spin one way up for 10 years till Tovshin Chav. The Rebbe used to spin towards the Dorim. When he would turn around for lechadoidi, he would turn this way to Dorim. He would turn to his right clockwise. And after that, the Rebbe heard, so there's two conflicting stories. They're not so much conflicting. Rabbi Zalixon in Sefer Dinei Shabbos says that he heard from the Simpson family, that Rabbi Simpson told the Rebbe that he was by the Frierdiker Rebbe and the Rebbe Rashab, and they used to do the other way around. They used to turn to the left at Tzofim. That's the way they turned. So the Rebbe changed. I did a search. I saw that Rabbi Groner wrote an article about this in the Oris of Biyurim, and he said the same thing, but he said that he heard it from Rabbi Levitin. Well, what's the difference? Maybe the Rebbe heard it from both. And then the Rebbe changed his Anhoga. So I was thinking about it. The truth is, the first Anhoga that the Rebbe did for the first 10 years is more sound, according to the Shulchan Aruch. Based on what I was saying last week, because there's a machlokes for the kohen. It's exact. Spinning lechadoidi is a minig. I don't want to say minig kalsha bekalim, but it's a minig. Why do we spin by lechadoidi? Why do we spin by lechadoidi? Does anyone know why we're spinning lechadoidi? Huh? Anyone? So if you turn the page,
well, the actual of your luminaries, that it should spin to face the entrance, as if it was
Adam God.
But like here,
There's no. They're going the opposite of the door. Okay, so
now you know how to bend the shoe.
Okay, so look at the set.
And then there also is a thing of 40 notes.
Oh, the Shela
Yes.
Okay, so let's look here. The Alter Rebbe brings Shulchan Aruch to Mareish Machbeis. Yilbash begodim anoim. Yismach bebiyas Shabbos keyoytz likras hamelach ukeyoytz likras kosam v'kalach m'shoytzim g'day l'kachamim shenesatzim begodim noim. V'oimrim boi v'neitze likras Shabbos hamalch v'oimrim boi chala boi chala. V'miktis mekemis noigim lotzim b'beis ha'knesset l'chotzim v'lem mekem yesh noigim lotzim b'asod. That there is a minhag to go out to l'chotzim b'beis ha'knesset or to be mekabel Shabbos by going out to the field. So the reason for spinning is that the Mishnah Berurah says you're spinning to the Kivan Adelis Kamakabal Adam Machosher. Sefer Megadim says you're spinning around in order to be Menachem Davelim and sitting in the back of the shul. Pri Megadim says that the spinning is to make believe that we're Yotzel L'Sodeh. That Rebbe's grandfather in the Shara Kollel writes, "Shetzorech l'Shabbos Shabbos in Ponav L'Mayrev," and he writes Kenu L'Fi HaKabbalah. Okay, so you have three reasons why we're spinning. One is we're going towards the Delos Kedei L'Kabbalah L'Choshev. One is Nanachem Avelim. The other is to Kabbalah the Shechina B'Mayrev, and we're turning around as if we went out to the field. Because where are we going to New York? You're going to start going to the field. Where are you going to go to the field?
It's actually going to the door. You just turn around.
So it depends. If you're saying that we're trying to go to the door, so Beis Menachem Mendel, we shouldn't be spinning altogether. The door happens to be here, not over there. There's only windows.
If you're standing forward, you're facing the door.
You're ready to the door. If you're there, but it seems Al Pi Kabbalah, the real reason is, like the Pri Megadim says, that really we would love to go out to the field. The McCoy, the real way of doing Kabbalah Shabbos, the real Kabbalah Shabbos is you go out to the Soda and you Makabal the Shabbos and you turn Shechina b'Mayrev, you turn your face to Mayrev. Oh, now, if that's the reason, question is, it's Chazal say, Kol Pina Shata Poin Eloi Poin Ela Derech Yamin. When you spin, you should spin Derech Yamin. What is considered Derech Yamin? So when the Kohen went up, and we spoke about this a little bit last week, when the Kohen went up on the ramp, it wasn't complicated because he wasn't spinning. He walked up the ramp. So when you walk up a ramp, there's no question what's Derech Yamin. He was walking quite a distance. There was no question how you're supposed to walk on the Mizbech. You say it every morning in Ezo Mekoyma. The problem here is because you're not walking. You're standing in one place. So by Bich, give us a Kohen.
Yeah.
Oh, how do you spin by how do you turn by Bichas Kohen?
Right. You turn right.
You're turning right?
Yeah, but what means right?
I just asked yesterday.
Yeah.
You stand up. If I'm standing, could you stand up? Show me how you turn to the oil. Thank you. So I asked yesterday Alabavitch Kohen that's here, Shmuley Friedman, and he says he turns like this. I said, why?
So he turns to the left.
I said, because that's my father did. I said, why your father do it? He said, I don't know. So I do it because my father does. So now you see you got a problem.
I never done it with him standing on the
Exactly. You get no. This would have gotten all if he stand depends where he's standing. If he's standing to your left.
Listen, I happen to be a lefty, so I'm always elbowing the guy next to
Or maybe your Yamin is the small and the small the Yamin. Maybe
no.
do the opposite because it.
No, but the person can say Lagabi Kol Penis doesn't matter if you're righty or lefty. Lagabi Kol Penis, Baruch Hashem would make it so confusing.
By the way, the new shul, when that thing was built, Brooklyn was a farmland. You could have mamish walked out,
right?
And you would have been going to the south.
It's still shtickle farmland.
We still have a little bit of shtickle over there. So
I went to Svardish shul many times to Avenue P to daven Shachris, and they do Bikas Koyanim every davening. So there is different Koyanim. The Koyanim that they are like came, they say, from the boat like 25, 30 years ago from Chaleb. So they do like Friedman does.
Yeah.
And the other ones, the ones that from here, they do the other way around.
Wow.
It looks like the old minute was a pikabal, more like.
Yeah, interesting. So really, before they gave the shia, I thought I'll ask more Koyanim, and I'm so glad that you're here. You made the picture complete. So now, as far as we know, some Koyanim are spinning one way, and everyone's going to the right. Everyone's going Kolpina Shata Poina. What do you mean?
So, does the halacha spell out which way to turn?
Yeah, the halacha spells out that it's a massive machloikis.
Oh, all right. So we're not resolved.
No, we're going to resolve it today. So
by Berchus Kohanim, that some say you turn to the right, some say you turn to the left.
I'm planning to resolve it. I'm planning to resolve it.
That mission, it sounds so much like it should be like Fidman from the Mishnah.
Okay, listen. This is the sugya. Let's read it quick. The Mechaber writes by Nasias Kapayim in Oida Chaim Sim Kuf Chav Chesif Yud Zayin. The Maron Mechaber, the Beis Yosef writes. Shemachzirim pneim bein betchila bein besoif lo yachziru elo derech yamin. Perik beis de soite, perik kama de yuma, bezvachim perik kodesh kedoshim, perik lulav arava, sukkah. Become meduchti. Mamish, it's so many places in Shas. Amrin and Kol Pina Shata Poina. Lo yiyu elo derech yamin. V'reisi, so gezon, Ve'reisi toyim lefarish beloshen zeh. Da'ainu loyme shetzorich lachze pneim l'smoil, which is what Chabad does now. V'shibushu b'yod. Ve'ein lemamash yismoich. Aval adover poshut ha'inu loyme sheyachze ponav l'tzad yeminek. One second, you b'sachach da kohen, no? How do you spin? Oh, the right.
Everyone's to the
Like
right.
the Shulchan
What's the
Aruch?
right?
Everyone's going to the right. You're spinning like this? This is how you're spinning? Okay. The guy of Lubavitch is going the other way, the other Lubavitch. Oh, wow. It's fun. Okay.
But ask him
So-
his father, where did you get it from, or his grandfather?
Now it's real fun. Okay. So you see now two Lubavitches, they're spinning the opposite directions. B'prisha kosa v'klal shlefi beis Yosef shorach sheyahapach ponav mitzad Samuel mitzad Yamin. The beis Yosef said that you have to schlep your left hand to your Yamin. You have to go to the daughter. Even though what happens when you're spinning this way? He says, notice when you spin, if you're going to go this way, you're going to have to move your left foot first. But the Beis Yosef says that's the pshat going to the right. I'm pulling my left foot towards. Eventually, I'm going to have to move my right foot too. But I'm moving my left foot first. That's good. That's called poina liyamin. Lefi atoyim and the other people, which he calls the mistake. Mistaber shiyakar regel yamin tchila shemach yapach ponav mitzad yamin l'tzad smile. And the Machaber Bemis is his Lushitosa. He holds that way by Nanuyim. He holds it by Bichas Koyanim and by Nanuyim, and he holds about lighting the menorah. What does it mean? Kol pinish at the finally mean? They go from the left to the right. That's clear. The Machaber Shita always. The Lavush goes everything the other way around. The Lavush is everything the other way around. The Lavush is the guy that everyone says is the Toya, the mistake. So he says he's a Ashkenazi. But that doesn't matter because you see the Alter Rebbe Paskins like the Machaber, but the Levush says everything goes to the left. He says from the right to the left. You have to go to Tzafah when you spin. The Kohen has to spin that way, and then Anuyim has to go that way, and also when you do the lighting the menorah, you have to go from right to left. And the Alter Rebbe writes,
Whichever way you do it, you have a makor to rely on.
problem is that Lubavitch he's doing it pretty consistent. But the
Kind of
other
going the other way
Lubavitches are confused because the menorah they're doing left to right, and when they're spinning right to left. So l'choida is astira minei obey. Let's just read a few more lines. The Shulchan Aruch Rebbein writes Elchas Nesim Kafayim K'shemachzirim Pneim Ben Betchila K'shemachzirim Pneim Min Ha'echel Klapeom Ben Besav K'shemachzirim Pneim Min Hatzibur La'echel Lo Yachzir El Derech Yamin. You must turn Derech Yamin. What does it mean Derech Yamin? שכשהם תחילו פניהם למזרח, יפנו לצדור, ואחר כך למערב נגד הציבור, ובחזרוסם למזרח יפנו לצד צופן, שהוא ימינם כשפניהם כלפי הציבור למערב. So bottom line, the Alter Rebbe says to do like the Machaber, that you go from left to right, that you go to the Donim clockwise. You do clockwise. And that makes sense, and this is what Rabbi Teitelbaum is doing. Presumably, that's the way he learns from his father. No, that's what your father did,
Yes.
Yes, sir. And that's what the other Lubavitches were doing in Montreal, and that's consistent with what the Alter Rebbe Shulchan Aruch writes, and that's what we're doing in the menorah. Problem is that the Rebbe, there's a sikha where the Rebbe says that the spinning of L'chadoidi is the same like Chanukah and the same like the Kol Pina Shata Poina. It's Yud Beis Tammuz Tav Shechov Gimel. So now that the Rebbe changed, so when you're lighting the menorah, you're doing like the Machaber. So why is it when you're spinning l'chadoy, you're spinning the other way? You have to pick one way. Either you're always spinning to the daughter. That means you're always taking the left to the right. You're doing it by the menorah, and that's what most people do. The menorah, they go from left to right. That's what you do by Hiskoinim, and that's what you're going to do also by Nanuyim, and that's what you're going to do by l'chadoy. I mean, when I say Nanuyim, it's in the people that take a 360 turn. But Nanuyim, most of us go like that easily. We don't do a 360 turn. Anyways, it's not relevant. But there's a steer in the Minig Lubavitch. It's a steer in B'nai Ubei. So the Nakuda, the answer, maybe next week we'll have a little time to expand on it, but just the 60-second Nakuda is the the Lavush says that you must spin this way. That's called right. He says, I'm going to tell you, but when people turn, I have to. I don't know. I tried to look at Wikipedia. I couldn't. A scientific study. I couldn't find.
Just called somebody.
He said, B'derech Teva. He says, pay attention when people dance, and pay attention when people walk. When B'teva, they turn this way. The truth is, in Beis Menachem Mendel, if you notice how people dance Friday night, Doidi, they dance this way. He says that's called Derech Yamin. So everyone argues in him that it was Yom Tov, and they said, I don't understand. What are you talking to me about Derech HaTeva? The Torah comes to break the Teva, not to be Derech HaTeva. The Torah is coming to break the Teva, not Derech HaTeva.
Shabbos is part of the Teva.
So it's Tzemach Tzedek in the Chidushim has a beautiful piece, but as I said, I want to just do it and finish off in another few minutes, and that's it. So we'll leave it for another time. But the Nekuda is that the Torah says when you go in, for example, a Beis HaMenuga, if you go and you become Tom, it's only Derech Bia, Derech Ponav, not Derech Vachodev. If you walk in this way, you become Tom. If you walked in this way, you're not Tom. You have to, because the Torah says there's a pasuk and Chazal learn it that Derech Bia, you have to go in the normal way. The Gemara says if you're walking away from your Rebbe and you walk this way, that's called normal. Why? Because the Derech is covered when you walk away from your Rebbe, that you walk in the back of you and you walk this way. That's called, because that's a Teva and that's the way covered. So he says that when you're spinning to Tzofen, that's Derech Bia. That's the normal way of walking. If spinning Derech Do, that's Derech HaChoyrev. So if we should accept the Tzemach Tzedek, the way you spin for Nanuyim, for Beches Koyanim, and for the Chadoidi has nothing to do with Kol Pina Shatapoina per se. If it's called Derech Ponav or Derech HaChoyrev. So therefore, perhaps this would ve'emfer that the Minig Lubavitch by the Menoides do like the Machaber, that we light the Menorah from left to right, and we say that's called Kol Pina Shatapoina, and it means you're pulling the left to the right. But the Rebbe later changed. What the Rebbe did originally made more sense in a way, because that's the way he's doing the Beches Koyanim. But perhaps the Rebbe changed because he learned in the Tzemach Tzedek, because he heard that's what his father did. That's what Rebbe Rashab did. Yeah, and so that's called Derech, because that's Derech HaTeva. That's called Derech Bia B'Derech Ponim. Otherwise, you're spinning Derech HaChoyrev.
Did you ever see his father-in-law doing it? Why did he?
Oh, so I mentioned it yesterday. It's a appelled to me. He never saw what his father-in-law did.
I'm sure they davened together.
So the answer is that
his father did differently, and then
no. The answer is l'choyrev. The answer is even by the Rebbe, they say that the Rebbe would do lip syncing on Friday night. The Rebbe didn't really daven with oil. Yeah. He would daven, come downstairs, and then he would go up to his room and he said daven for 2-3 hours, Kabbalah Shabbos. Mm-hmm. And it could be his father-in-law did the same thing. The father-in-law probably used to daven Kabbalah Shabbos B'Yachidus because he didn't want. Chabad Rabbeim never wanted to daven if they're going to daven for 3 hours. They never wanted to daven with the oilam to make the oilam wait for 3 hours. It's like Tichel the Tzibura, and it's like it doesn't make sense. So Friday night, it's very possible that Friedrich Rebbe's minhag was to daven B'Yachidus because he wanted to daven very long. So if he davened B'Yachidus and the door is locked, how would anyone know how he spins? Could be that's why the Rebbe didn't know.
Did the Rebbe invite people ever to the Rebbe for Shabbos to his table?
So what still? But he davened.
No, people could see if he came right away or came 3 hours later.
I'm still asking people. No one's asking me the Shaila, but I don't know. I'm just saying he asked the Shaila how the Rebbe didn't see what his father-in-law did. His father-in-law probably davened B'Yachidus Friday night.
But even when he sings, when he was doing it in public, short, he did turn around. Like
for the first 10 years, he was turning like the Machaber, like he does in Beches Koyanim. He was turning clockwise. And then he changed because he heard that his father-in-law.
If his father-in-law did it privately, how did anyone else see?
Oh, could be his father-in-law that he asked Eliachel Simchon and Rabbi Levitin learned in Lubavitch when his father-in-law was still a young man, when his father-in-law was the principal of the yeshiva. It could be at that time he davened in the yeshiva with the students. Later, when he became a Rebbe, and the Rebbe only knew his father-in-law when he was a Rebbe already. He got to know his father-in-law in 1922 and 23, 25. They got engaged in 1926. So, but he didn't see his father-in-law when his father-in-law was running the yeshiva, from 1910 till 19, yeah.
Rabbi, when you grew up in
Rabbi
Rhode
Levitin
Island, you
did the
davened
same,
in
but-
770?
Yeah,
So you would have seen the Rebbe.
Sure I saw.
Kohanim and Chlo.
the Rebbe wasn't a Kohen.
No, but
Again.
you would have seen it by Lechododi.
But Dodi, yeah, sure, everyone saw. That's why I told you last week that Rebbe used to spin this way. But it turns out that for the first 10 years, he was doing it the other way. He first did it clockwise, and then he changed to do
Your
counterclockwise.
father lived in Crown
All the
Lake.
Bavitchers are doing it now that way.
Your father
Now with the
lived in
Kohanim, it
Crown
turns out that some of the Kohanim are spinning that way, which is even though you're doing it with the Alter Rebbe, it says to do it because that's what's mefedish in the Alter Rebbe. But why the other Lubavitch is doing the other way? Probably because they saw the Alter Rebbe was spinning for the Chadoidi. So they said, "Oh, listen, it's the same thing."
And
They were spinning over.
the Chadoidi and that is not the same thing as Hanukkah. Because you have
I'm
to do
saying
the-
that in order to fan for Akasha. I'm trying to say something. Otherwise, the Mishnah is showing the Alter Rebbe everything is from the Rebbe is everything consistent. Now he's turning counterclockwise when it comes to turning, but the Menorah he's still going left to right like the Machabes. I'm saying that's it's straight. This is Derech Bia and this is Derech Ponim and Derech Ocher, and that's called Pina Shat Ponim.
So something in soccer, yeah, they say that the people that kick with the right leg is because the left leg is stronger. Because you stand on the stronger one, but the one that actually does the kicking is the
weaker.
right, is the weaker one.
Uh-huh.
So that goes good with going like this because this is called Pina Shatapoina. You use
the other one.
You say that at Derech HaTeva, you go like this. Why? Because the left leg is the one that supports you more in your movement and stays more on the ground.
Okay, I hear. Okay, we'll leave it at this.
Shna Sakel, the Rebbe took the Lulav and Esrog and hold this the whole time.
Right.
People will say, hey, what's going on? He said, even though I didn't see it by my father-in-law, but it's Shna Sakel, I'm taking upon myself something
Right,
more.
a special thing for Actus.
So maybe over here something also. The Rebbe saw the Friedrich
Yeah,
Rebbe.
didn't watch
watched.
Okay, look, but I'm telling you what the Rabbi Groner said. Rabbi Groner said that the Rebbe gefrekt Rabbi Simpson, and this guy said that Rebbe asked Rabbi Levitin. It's a pella.
But what did
I mean, you always saw the Rebbe turning the other way, right? To toughen. Towards, you know?
In the army, when they teach you to walk, they says, Yamin, small Yamin. Yamin, small Yamin. What doesn't mean Yamin, small Yamin, right, left, right. They mean the foot. What? The right foot.
Uh-huh.
Right? Exactly. It's the concept.
But when you're spinning this way that the Rebbe did, you're really moving regel yamin first. It's true. This way you're moving regel yamin first. Okay, thank you very much. Really geschmack sugya. David shall helfen that this child that we asked about traveling with Eretz Yisrael should be totally irrelevant because we're going to be in Eretz Yisrael. I'm going to ask not to come back to Chutz La'aretz.
Amen.
Okay, Kultiv.
Shabbos Teruma. I'll be there.
Oh, okay, give me a text, okay?
All right. Shabbos Truma.